until about 30 minutes or so of a briefing. I'm going to have to talk pretty quickly because we started a little late. We give this to you for a couple of reasons. One, they're just really interesting, amazing animals, and we'd like to tell you a little bit about them. Two, we want to make sure that when you guys get in the water that you don't do anything that makes them feel uncomfortable. So you may have gotten a peek at one of our dolphins as we were walking by, and if not, when you take your first look at them, you're probably going to think, oh, they're really big. I wonder how I could do anything that would make them feel badly. I assure you that there are actually quite a few things we can do as people that would give them not so positive feelings about us. So I'm going to let you know what those things are so that you can avoid doing them. I'm also going to get into a little biology and anatomy because they just have some amazing characteristics. It also gives you a better idea of how their body works. So again, you can understand what types of things would make them feel uncomfortable. Then at the very end, I'll go over the rules we have. We don't have too many. And then I'll actually be going over some of the behaviors that you'll be doing with the dolphins. In our experience, the more prepared you are entering the water, the better of an experience you're going to have. So the less nervous you'll be if you're more prepared for what's going to happen, okay? For starters, let me introduce you to Dolphins Plus. We opened in about 1980, 1979, and we've been steadily growing since that time. Probably more so in the last year than ever before. We've had 3 baby dolphins born here since last June. They're all doing really great, which is wonderful because the success of the births in the wild is only about 65%. So the fact that they all made it and are doing wonderfully is an awesome thing. I'm going to tell you where the calves are located so that if you don't happen to get the opportunity to swim with one of them today, not all of you will get that chance, unfortunately. At the very least, you can take a quick walk around and take a peek at them. So there's one in this house behind you guys. It's a male. His name is Kai. The other 2 are on the other side of the facility. To get there, you have to cross up over the bridge and down to the other side. We have one male baby over there named Fiji, and the only female we had is named Mika. We do offer a little bit of a different feel here at Dolphins Plus than some of the larger, more theme park facilities. Something that makes us very unique is that we have the dolphins in their natural environment. So what this means for you guys is this is very salty ocean water. We're located on a canal. Canals are man-made. This one happens to be U-shaped and it opens on both ends of the Atlantic Ocean. The ocean is not too far in that direction. If you're not from here, I've heard that the salt content of our water can be very shocking. So the 2 things I hear most commonly are, 1, it doesn't taste very good, and 2, it tends to sting your eyes. I think you guys will actually be a little bit surprised by how salty the water is here. So the tactic we ask you to use is to keep on blinking, and hopefully your body will kind of take care of it on its own. You want to try to avoid rubbing your eyes with your hands. If you have to, go for it, but try to avoid it at first, because that might just make it worse. You never know. It also means you guys get to experience the wonderfully warm water temperatures of South Florida. It's somewhere around 88 degrees Fahrenheit, of course. So that means there's absolutely no need for wetsuits or anything even remotely close to a wetsuit. I would actually recommend you not wear one if you bring one because you would probably run the chance of passing out. It's that warm. So you guys don't have to worry about being cold today at all. Having the dolphins in their natural environment is really great for them for a couple of reasons. 1, it helps keep their immune system functioning more efficiently. These guys get sick less often than dolphins that are kept in tanks. 2, it basically serves as a source of entertainment for them. I don't think people think about this often, but if you imagine putting a highly intelligent, highly emotional animal, let's say a person, in a room with white walls, no windows, and no doors, which would be like a tank, for 10 to 30 years, you probably start to go a little bit crazy. There would be very little to stimulate you inside your house. So what this does for our dolphins is it's more or less like a giant playpen. It is a natural habitat, which means we do have all sorts of critters growing in their homes with them. We have everything from fish, crabs, lobsters, snails, algae. We pretty much have everything. Nothing dangerous. You don't have to worry about any sharks or barracudas when you're in their homes. All that fun stuff stays on the other side of the fence in the canal. The fences do go all the way to the ground, so when you're in their houses, you don't have to worry about anything biting your toes or anything like that. There's nothing dangerous living in their houses. Now, we have 4 programs here. I'm just going to mention them briefly. Your program is called the Structured Swim. This is the only one where we allow you to touch them, and I'll tell you why in 1 second. We also have a natural swim, which involves getting in the water with snorkeling gear and just kind of swimming around with the dolphins freely. We don't allow people to touch them in that program because arms reaching out at them when they're not prepared for it is something that makes them feel very nervous. In your program, they're very prepared for everything that's going on. They also have the option of letting us know when they're not comfortable with something. So a perfect example where they wouldn't be comfortable would be on a belly rub. Your arm's going to be out to the side. I'm going to give the dolphin a signal to do a belly rub with you, and they're going to come roll over by your hand, and you're going to gently rub their belly. Well, if you're doing this with your arm, for whatever reason, maybe you're nervous and you're having a hard time staying still, they're going to go halfway towards you and come right back to me, usually whistling or clicking, letting me know that they're not okay with that, that hand moving around is making them feel uncomfortable. We cannot make these guys do anything that they don't want to do. It's not that type of relationship. We ask them to do things for us. If they don't want to do it, then there's nothing I can do. So as a trainer, I would try to have you keep your hands still. And if you couldn't for whatever reason, I would just have to get creative and we'd have to do something else that would make them feel more comfortable. So they do kind of communicate with us during the program and let us know when they are and are not comfortable with something. We also have a C-line interaction program. I'm not really going to get into that too much. I just want to let you know that we do have 2 California sea lions. They're both females, which means they weigh around 180 pounds, somewhere around there. One is named Sugar. Her house is on this side. The other one is named Wono. Her house is on the opposite corner of the facility. I would definitely recommend going and taking a peek at them. They're pretty cute and pretty unique looking. And last but not least, I'm going to mention this because I know we have a program running this morning. We're associated with an organization called Island Dolphin Care. They're our sister facility, but they're nonprofit and they offer basically animal-assisted therapy to children with special needs, for children with special needs. So this is the only thing that we ask that you refrain from taking pictures of. There will be a therapy session running this morning. It's going to be on the other side of the canal. It's really a private thing for them and their families. You're welcome to watch, and it's an awesome program. Sometimes you get goosebumps watching it. But please don't take pictures of that because it's just kind of invasion of their privacy. In terms of photographing anything else, we have absolutely no problems with that. You guys can take pictures of all our animals, of each other. We don't have any problems with photographs here. Let me introduce you briefly to each of our dolphins. I'm going to have to keep this short. So if you want to know more about the dolphins that you're swimming with when your program starts, feel free to ask your trainers. We generally like to talk about them a lot, so that shouldn't be a problem. They have very distinctive personalities. It's actually amazing. We have 14 dolphins here total, and that's including the 3 little ones. Starting out in the house behind you, we have 3 dolphins in that house. In total, there is a fence that runs down the middle that separates this house from the one next door. We have 1 male named LB, 1 female named Ding, and baby Kai. LB and Ding are the king and queen of the facility, so they're the alpha male and female. LB, his name ironically stands for little bit. He has long since outgrown that name. He's about 750 pounds and 11 feet long. He is a very, very big dolphin. He's our biggest dolphin by far. Now, Ding is the queen of the whole facility. In the wild, it's a female-run social system. What that means is the females call the shots, and those things do carry over into captivity. So Ding is very, very intimidating to the rest of our dolphins here. Even though she can't quite get to the guys on the other side of the canal, she spends a large portion of her day yelling at them. She also spends a pretty significant amount of her time yelling through the fence at her neighbors. If she does this during a session, it can actually be so distracting that it's hard to get through the session because the dolphins that are getting yelled at get scared. So Ding's trainer has gotten really good at interpreting her body language and trying to figure out when she might be a little moody, and then tries to divert her attention towards something else. In the house next door, we call that the party house because it tends to be a pretty fun place to swim. This is usually where we have most of our natural swims. We have 4 dolphins in there total, 3 males and 1 female. Let's start off with Bob and Cosmo. They work on a platform together. They are brothers. They share a dad, and that's LB, which means they're very big dolphins. Bob is 10 and Cosmo is 4. Because he's a really mellow guy. He is one of those dolphins that's really big, but he thinks he's like this big. He tends to let the dolphin kids pick on him. Sometimes I feel bad for him. He's also a little shy. Cosmo, on the other hand, is extremely outgoing. We joke that Cosmo thinks everyone comes here just to see him. Pretty much at the beginning of every session, he sits in the corner and looks up at the people. I joke that he's trying to figure out which toys are his. The last 2 in there are Samantha and Julian. That's mother and son. Julian is the baby in the house for a couple of reasons. 1, he's the youngest and smallest. He's pretty cute. But 2, he's treated very much like a baby by his mom. So he's like one of those 18-year-old guys whose mother treats him like he's 2. So she babies him, which actually has a huge effect on our ability to train him. So it sounds funny, but how easy or difficult it is to train them has a lot to do with how their mothers are with them. The more strict they are, the easier our job is. So in comparison, let's say Ding, she's a notoriously strict mother. So if her baby leaves during a session, you want to consider that like going to school, she immediately goes to get him and brings him back. We don't have to ask her to do it. Samantha, on the other hand, is one of those moms that's like, you know what, honey, if you want to go play with the squid in the corner during school, that's okay because I love you. She loves him a little too much, and that actually makes our job a lot harder. So if you're with those two today, you might need a little extra patience depending on the day. Every day is different. Because if he leaves, we do have a signal that we can give to Samantha that asks her to go get him. So it might take a little longer, but it will be worth it. Samantha, you'll definitely notice, looks a little bit different. About 18 years ago, she broke her jaw. No one was here when it happened. There are a lot of theories on what could have gone on. Basically, dolphins can only open their mouths up and down. They can't move their jaws side to side like we can. So when it broke, her top jaw broke off to the right. We opted to leave it as it was by suggestion from the vet, and it's turned out just fine. Our main concern was her eating, and she eats more than enough. But on top of her jaw being crooked, there's a layer of dark green algae, which is a little bit like underwater grass, growing on the top part of her lower jaw. As people, we used to look at that, and it pretty much looks like dirty teeth. So what we used to do was, we thought we were helping her out, and we'd take a toothbrush and brush that off for her. Well, we were actually doing her a disservice because what would happen is she would get these really bad blisters on the inside of her mouth from the sun. So we now leave it there for her, and we think that it actually acts as a natural form of sunscreen. It makes sense. It's a part of their bodies, just like ours, that's not meant to see the sun in this kind of intensity. So we're pretty sure she likes to have it there, and we leave it there for her. On the other side of the canal, we have mostly females except for the baby boy Fiji. What that means for little Fiji is that he gets picked on a lot. That's a lot of girls picking on one little boy. The adults are named Squirt, Sarah, and Jessica. Jessica is Nika's mom, and Squirt is Fiji's mom. And then we have two teenagers, Bella and Tracy. Now I'm going to mention this because you'll definitely notice this on Bella and Tracy, and you may also notice this on some of our other dolphins. You may notice that they have these scratch marks on their bodies, and they tend to be concentrated in this area. What those are, it's basically a dolphin spanking. So let's say Bella does something that makes her mom, Sarah, mad. Sarah's going to chase her down, take her teeth, and scratch her teeth down Bella's body. So dolphins have about 36 layers of skin. We have 6. It probably doesn't hurt as badly as it appears to hurt to us. I'm not going to say it tickles by any stretch, but it probably is equivalent to getting a spanking. They tend to be concentrated in this area because as soon as Bella knows that mom is mad, she's going to be swimming away as fast as she can. So mom can usually only get this end of Bella. It's totally normal. It's not something that only happens between mother and calf. It's also how they establish dominance. So more dominant dolphins will have less rake marks than less dominant dolphins. Bella and Tracy are pretty fun. The reason they have so many rake marks is because they're pretty much the instigators over there. They're constantly getting into other people's dolphins' business and doing things that make their fellow dolphins mad. They like to goof around and tease the other dolphins. Bella gets her name for a reason. She is very beautiful. She's pretty unique looking. You should be able to tell which dolphin she is if you go take a peek over there. She's very light in color. So dolphins vary naturally genetically in color, just like people, and Bella happens to be on the much lighter end of the spectrum. So her overall color is a very light gray. Her belly is this almost striking fluorescent pink color, and she has 2 pink stripes down either side of her body. So I would suggest if you guys have time, I don't know when your bus leaves, but if you have a time, take a quick walk over there if you're not with them today and just go take a peek at those girls. They're pretty interesting looking. The last 2 in there are Jessica and Nika. Nika was very outstanding.